Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another Takeo Tuesday. I've been having some technical difficulty. Can you raise your hand if you can hear me and see my screen? Please raise your hand. Okay, Warren raised his hand. That's good. Alex did too. Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is Brett Zerba. I'm an application engineer with Takeo, and I will be presenting. I'll be yapping all day today, well, just for an hour. Rich Medairos, who many of you know, is busy. He's not actually traveling. He's at some type of event in Florida this week, and so I will be handling the webinar all by myself. As most of you know, Takeo is a privately held company. Hopefully, a lot of you seen that cute picture of the 5th generation. Each of the boys, each of the 4th generation, John III and Benjamin, are married, and they each just had daughters. Madison was born in April, and Winona was born in July. Pretty exciting. Excuse me, she was born in, July. This is August, right? I'm getting confused with weeks, but pretty exciting times for all of us at Takeo, especially for the White family, as you can only imagine. Privately held company, been in business over 100 years. 3rd generation is currently running it, Johnny White Jr., and he's doing a great job. Him and his team, led by Cheryl Merchant, are doing a great job. Matter of fact, we're getting people back out there. We're going to have a national sales meeting coming up for reps and whatnot in September. It's right around the corner, as a matter of fact, right around the corner. So pretty exciting stuff. Pretty exciting stuff. So today's presentation is going to be on air and dirt separators and flex balancers. These are some Takeo products that we manufacture, and others in the industry manufacture them as well. We're not alone out there, although we think we differentiate ourselves in a couple of ways. And number one is our great rep force that we have throughout the world, but today's I'll concentrate mostly on North America. The states and north of the border, our reps are second to none. Second to none. Matter of fact, one of my good friends, Warren Juergens, works out in the Midwest for JMO O'Connor out in Kansas City and Kansas area, Wichita. Great people, and I learn a lot from Warren. So hopefully Warren can help me today and answer any questions that I can answer about Takeo's air and dirt separators and flex balancers. A relatively new product, the flex balancers, but it also can be used as a air and dirt separator, a buffer tank. So there's some other uses there. So maybe you can eliminate some components and use that component and still get your primary, secondary. So we'll get into some of that as we go. So again, my name is Brett Zerba. I'm an applications engineer with Takeo. I've been with the company, it'll be 25 years in October. 25 years in October. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. I'm a degreed mechanical engineer. I graduated from the University of New Hampshire in 1981 with a degree in mechanical engineering, and I graduated from Johnson & Wales University with an MBA that was actually sponsored by Takeo. I was able to get into the program. One of the first, it was the first program that Takeo offered at our facility, and it was quite rewarding for me. And I was raising 3 children at the time, and they would always say, "Dad, what'd you get on that test? What'd you get on that test?" Because that's what parents ask kids, or some parents ask kids. Most parents ask kids. And when you're in a master's program, you're always getting A's and B's. You don't get much below that. They kind of stopped asking after a couple of courses. But and the education that Takeo stresses for all of us is just top notch, and I can't emphasize that enough. What it's done for me personally, and some of my good friends at Takeo. As an example, one of the gentlemen that took that course with me or got his MBA, Tom McCormick, he got his college degree through Takeo. He started out out running some machines, and he's been working with the company that I think approaching 35 years now. And Greg Johnson, same thing. He got his college degree. Cheryl Cheryl Malillo and Gary Malillo, they got their college degrees through TACO. It's the sponsorship they do for in the effort, the emphasis they put on education for all of us is just fantastic. And I know some of you have been to our facility, and hope all of you can get there one day and see the Innovation and Development Center that they invested in heavily for education, for employees, for folks like yourself, and everyone, the industry. It's used on a daily basis, and we're opening it back up now that well, anyways, we're opening it back up to folks to visit. So I digress a little, but let me get into today's presentation. So we're going to talk about the TACO 4900, which is our commercial air separator. Okay, kind of the one. I mean, it's been around for at least 12 years now. It's an inline type, but we'll get into a lot of the details of it. To me, it's the one. If I was on the specifying engineering side of the fence for bigger commercial systems, for any commercial systems, I would specify it. To be quite honest, we'll talk about our inline air separators. Our terminology is ACs, ACFs, and then our tangential air separator is probably the one that many of you may be more familiar with. It may be the detail in your MEP drawings, but it's a tangential type. And you'll see the different flow patterns as we get into today's presentation. And then the 5900, that's our flex balancer. And we'll get into the details of that. And then a surprise, we're going to talk about MPTs, multi-purpose tanks that can also be used as air and dirt separators or flex balancing or whatnot. So there's some different possibilities there as we go. So a couple of groundwork stuff here. Remember, 24 hours after today's presentation, you'll get an email, or you should get an email with access to today's a recording of today's presentation, as well as your PDH certificate if you need it, and you can use it in your state. So be on the alert for those. And if you don't, send an email to the TACO folks that put this together, and we'll make sure we get you one. Also, there are 2 handouts for today's presentation. You can get them at the handout area. Hopefully everyone can see where that is. But these handouts are test data associated with our commercial air separator, our 4900. We actually paid an independent company to do some testing. I'm not going to get too much into that, but those that there is, we think that's a big differentiator for us and our fine competitors that are out there. We actually have independent test dating data that backs up what we actually say about our product. Whoa. Holy moly, unbelievable. I'm going to take a sip of water here. Then I'm going to get going. You know, one of the things that Rich and I find is some people don't really realize why do we have these type of components, okay? So here's the reason why air and dirt separation, you know, this says influence of air, but you can add dirt into that headline as well. And it's critical to have these components in your system. Right? I mean, if air gets in there or dirt, you can have insufficient water circulation, right? Maybe your customers or the end users lack of comfort, noise, right? We have noise. We have noise as well. Nope, it looks like I screwed up on the handouts. They may both be the same. I apologize. We will have to send those out at a later date. Thanks, Gordon and Jamin, for letting me know that. I apologize on that. But anyways, we'll move on. We'll move on. By the way, the other handout is available on our website. Maybe if I get finished, I can show you where they are, so you can get the other one there as well. You know, reduced heat transfer. This is a good reason why we got these pieces of equipment in these systems, right? Damage to pumps, man. We don't want to get, we don't like damage to pumps or other components, right? And to be quite honest, there's a possibility that the other components would have just as much damage, if not more, than the pumps. Corrosion, right? You know, as these systems get older, and if you have air in there or dirt, that piping could cause quite a bit of corrosion. Excuse me, the air and dirt could cause corrosion on the pipe as well as the components, right? It's going to break them down, and we've seen it. I'm sure many of you, not many, yeah, many of you may have seen it as well. That's why it's so important. Increased maintenance effort. We have a project where we built a 30-inch diameter 4900 air and dirt separator down in Florida, and it was a central chilled water plant, central. So they're running a lot of underground piping, and they were having enormous amounts of an older system problems with sand getting into their system. So they actually put on, put a couple of these air and dirt separators on there, and they were taking wheelbarrows out of sand out of these as they blew them down, and eventually they got most of it out of the system. So it really did help correct. It was amazing how much these bad boys helped. So these are some of the reasons, and there's probably others, but it is very important to have these type of components in there, whichever one you specify or put in. There's pluses and minuses with each one, but nonetheless, very important to put them in there. So here's a couple pictures of the Taco 4900 air and dirt separator. The one on the left is without a removable cover, and the one and that's an air separator. The one on the right is an air and dirt with a removable cover. So that and this is an advertisement type of statement, but these guys can save money and prolong the life of your system. It's obviously there's an upfront cost associated with these, but it's small in the realm of what they can save for you. Matter of fact, when we built it's almost 10 years old now, our 2-floor addition at Taco. We had these on the hot water system and the chilled water system, and because of the type of system, it was a single pipe on each floor. We actually shut off single heating, single cooling. We shut off all the zones and ran the water before we turned the chillers on and everything. We ran the water through the piping and through these 4900s over the weekend and cleaned and got all that debris out. And then we went ahead and started up each zone separately, one-on-one, and the process was so much cleaner and easier. It made a big difference. And a lot of that construction debris we were able to get out with these guys up front, as well as the ongoing process. The test data actually shows that we can remove micro bubbles, sand, dirt, and rust as small as 18 microns after 10 complete cycles of the water through the system. And they prevent all those items that I showed you on the first or second slide. They prevent those and can help prevent those. And these 4900s also have the Pall Ring technology, right? Taco's patented Pall Ring technology that we imported from our partners in the Netherlands. And we've been using them for a long time. I bet you there's a few of you that might even have one or two of those on your desk, because when people come in, we actually give them out when we give tours of our Fall River facility where these are manufactured. The gentleman down there, the team down there, like to hand them out and have people for souvenirs. The question came up. 18 microns for both hot and cold water, and the answer is yes, for both hot and cold water. Here's some of the data associated with these, performance data. And trust me, if you want to send us a project for over 30,000 GPM, feel free. Our boys in the team in Fall River, they'll get right on it. So we can get pretty big with some of these. I think we even have a 36-inch diameter, a couple of them out there as well. Connection sizes 2 up to 36 inches. You can only imagine how big these are. I mean those are obviously the run-of-the-mill ones are maybe 4 to 8 to 10-inch type, but we can get very big with some of these, and you can see some of the diameters and heights that we can get to as well. Working pressures, all different types, right? I think 125, 150 is probably your norm, but we have the optionals much higher. And as a matter of fact, our engineers down there can design it even higher working pressures if that's ever a requirement for any project that you want to get involved in. Just get in contact with your local TACO rep, and they can get the ball rolling. One thing about our Fall River Welded Products division, they can make non-catalog stuff quite efficiently, and they do that on a regular basis. They have an engineering staff down there that makes sure it still follows the proper codes and whatnot, but they can take specials, I'll call them specials, request into there as well. And I mean, maximum operating temperature catalog up to 240. I'm sure that's for 95 to 99% of the projects that most of us are involved in. But again, higher temperatures are available. The actual material of construction is cast iron painted, but we do make stainless steel ones if there is a corrosion issue. Matter of fact, we have one on display at our facility in Cranston, Rhode Island, and at our mechanical room. So we can make other materials of construction as well for these air and dirt separators. And the air and dirt separator can come as the majority of them are an air and dirt separator, right? So both features are built into the unit. You can get it just as an air separator, just as a dirt separator, or an air and dirt separator. So there's different combinations there as well. So, but to be quite honest, from my perspective, I would always specify an air and dirt separator. Put them into one component, boom, put it on the drawing, put it on your detail, and away you go, and you're in good shape there. So here's some of the features, and you know, it's so important, that first one, right? So hopefully it's in your specifications, but these are vessels that they are, you know, a container of some type. They're designed, constructed, and tested to that American Society of Mechanical Engineering, ASME, and there's the actual section and division. We actually have a gentleman on staff from ASME that makes sure we follow all the procedures properly. And so that's very, very important. And the welding, again, some of you have been at that facility. You've seen the welds. It's second to none. You know, yes, I work for TACO, but in my opinion, I've seen others, and ours are second to none. Also, another feature is it has an integral stainless steel Pall Ring basket, and you'll see what I mean by that. I have some more pictures. So it's a stainless steel basket that sits in there for the air and dirt ones, and the Pall Rings nestle in there. They're just thrown in, as a matter of fact. There's no rhyme or reason to it, but they're just thrown in there as well. It is furnished with an air vent, and the dirt and air and dirt models are furnished with a full port blow down valve. That's a differentiator as well. The suggestion came from some folks like yourself that it would be nice when they blow these units down if they could get, and I'll show you pictures of it, if you could get a wand in there, you know, a pressure wand. So we listen to the audience, to our customers, and provided it on certain sizes, and it's in my presentation. I think it's 3-inch and bigger, could be 4-inch and bigger. You just can't put it on a smaller one. So you can actually get that pressure wand in there, and you can rinse it out, in essence, to get even more of that dirt out of there as well. It is available with a removable cover. Most of them are probably specified that way. That does allow you to get in there and wash the units down if need be. So just keep that in mind. And this is an important feature when we start looking at possibly for bigger systems. The values we show on our curves, you're guaranteed 2 psi or less pressure drop that are shown on your submittals. And to me, that could be a differentiator as well. As a matter of fact, it has happened on some of the bigger projects where we were able to show some folks the energy savings by utilizing a 4900 compared to maybe brand S or brand whatever, because of the less pressure drop in that component. You know, the pump doesn't have to work as hard. less horsepower, less energy, this is savings. So, some things to keep in mind as you go. And again, some more features, higher pressures. I mean, if you need higher than 300, bingo bango, you can do that. All our fabrication for all the products I'm going to show you today, and I'll emphasize that, is all done at house. We have some nice, easy selection software to allow you to select it and design it very quickly. And you can see some of the other mentions there as well. So for our folks north of the border, you can get a CRN registration if required. And again, just to reemphasize, we are getting the bubbles out down to those 18 microns, heating and cooling. So here's a kind of a picture of the air and dirt separator and some recommended installation thoughts or whatnot. It's very, very important. It's very, very important to keep the stresses off the unit if you're not going to have an resting on the floor, right? I've seen the bigger ones, probably more of the bigger ones. Once you get up to a certain size, you might want to rest them on the floor. But if you're hanging them up in a piping system, and I see plenty hung up there, you know, maybe 4, 5, 6 inch, that 4, 6, 8, 6-inch diameter pipes, 3-inch diameter pipes. You want to make sure you're attaching that pipe supports very, very close to that flange, right? It actually says no greater than 1/2 pipe diameter. And you know, good piping practices, we recommend an isolation valve on both sides. I think most of that goes without saying as well. There's that air vent shown there. We do have some lifting lugs on the unit as well, so you can move that around quite easily, relatively quite easily, as you try to install this, or as the contractor tries to install this. The general rule of thumb, right? You know, that's why I'm saying general. You know, it's never 100% rule of thumb in our industry, but what we recommend. All right, hold on a second. I'm trying to. Come on now. Let's make this general rule of thumb in hydronic systems that air separators should be located. You want to locate them at the hottest, warmest part of an HVAC system. So downstream of the boiler and upstream of the chiller, right? If you think about a hot water system, the hottest water is what's coming out of the boiler. So that's the general rule of thumb now. I've seen them on the other side as well, but that's the general rule of thumb. On a chiller system, you know, it's not unusual to see them on the inlet side to the chiller, because that's the water coming back from the system, coming back from the zones, the building, whatever. So that's the general rule of thumb. Is that a hard and fast rule? No, but nonetheless, it is a general. And then the second general rule of thumb is that a hydronic system, that the air separator located at the expansion tank connection to the system. So if you look at some of your details, you folks may see that in some of your details on your piping drawings or in your MEP drawings as well. So a couple of general rules of thumb. They're in our installation recommendation manuals as well, but nonetheless, some stuff there. This warning label, I have a picture of that on a separate screen. I want to make sure I point that out for these units. It's very important for all of us to take this into account. Bingo, there it is. So that warning label is right here, right below the air vent, and it's yellow, and it says, do not braze piping to the air vent outlet. Permanent damage will occur to the vent internals. So there's some plastic type materials in here. If you braze some piping to that, sure and heck, you're going to ruin that component. So this is a warning label on the unit. You know, how you want to take that information and get it out to your customers or whatever. It is on the unit, but maybe you want to put it in your spec too, just to cover your butts or whatever. But nonetheless, it is on there. There's kind of a blow up of the information on the nameplate. And keep in mind, and I mentioned this at previous presentations on our commercial products, every one of our products now has that TACO tag, right? That tag you can actually take a picture of with your smartphone and get all the information this nameplate information, but that may get popped off. But the serial number or board number is listed right there, so that can track it right through the ASME rating of the unit as well. And then the CRN could be listed there. Excuse me, our model number. Obviously, that's in the submittals. It's on your order, blah, 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 but it's listed on that tag, as well as available on that TACO tag, where you can get that information now electronically as well, and then date of the product made. So pretty straightforward what is shown on the tag, and hopefully those tags remain on the unit. I know somehow they seem to disappear over time. So had to get another drink, a sip of water. Some water here from the East Coast, the Northeast. Nice day out here in New England. We're seeing some sunshine. I live in Massachusetts, just north of Boston. Well, a little farther north of the Boston, near the coastline, and it's in the mid 70s and very, very dry today. Our third heat wave of the summer ended over the weekend, so we're pretty happy about that, or I'm pretty happy about that, to say the least. So here's a picture of the basket and the Pall Rings. Okay, these guys down here are the Pall Rings. Okay, and they remove air and dirt, and you can see that I mean, hard to explain, but there's a lot of surface areas for these, right? They're kind of, you think about a beer can and you put some holes in it or whatever, and that's what these units are. That's our patent, that's our information, that's our product that we bring over from the Netherlands, from our partners over there, and you can see it sits in that basket right inside the air and dirt separator. And like I said, they're pretty much thrown in there. There's no, they're not put in there one at a time and on any layers or anything like that. So we're really trying to make as many paths for that water to go through to slow it down. Okay, that's what we're trying to do. And again, so as the water goes through there and slows down, the air, the micro bubbles start to gather on those surfaces, and they start to form, and they form some bigger ones, and they go up to that vent, and they can vent out. And then the dirt actually, because the water's slowing down, the dirt's a little heavier, and that actually drops to the bottom, and that's what makes the air and dirt separator, or makes these things very, very efficient, very, very efficient as well. Matter of fact, they get so much air out of the system, the pressure may be negative on some of these, so it's very, very, very efficient. These are made out of stainless steel, very durable. I've never seen, I hate using the word never, but personally, I've never seen one come back that's corroded. And I'm sure someone has out there, maybe some chemical got in there or something, whatnot, but nonetheless, they are very, very durable. This basket, if you have the removable cover, can be taken out. And I would recommend at least a removable cover, maybe on a condenser unit, where you might get some more outside stuff going through there, from the local trees or moss or whatever. But really, if you got a pretty clean system, well, anyways, for it's hard to say, right? Personally, I would recommend the removable cover just for peace of mind, Otherwise, your only cleaning ability is just with that wand and getting it in there as well. So something to consider in that regard. But those are our Pall Rings. And again, I bet you a couple of you might have some on your desk. So here's some of the other components or different parts of it. A conical shaped air vent right up top. We talked about that. And there's that safety warning label right here that we talked about. The lifting eyes, you can kind of see those a little more detail here as well. There's that removable cover. And we chose to put the cover on top. We have seen some where the cover was on the bottom, and our design team, as they were thinking about it, and we can make them with the cover on the bottom. We have done that for special requests, but the reason we chose to put it on top is more of a safety issue. If it's on the bottom, right, and you got that conical shape, and you're trying to take off. You know, these things can get pretty heavy, right? It's cast iron, and you need some type of support there as you start unbolting it. And you know, maybe the fork trucks or whatever, or you know, the parts that stick out there. It just seemed like a finger cruncher. So our design team chose to put them on top. So that's where they are right there. And again, ASME construction, inline design, right? And like I said, you know, a lot of air and dirt separators out there, those tangential styles, and that's a more up top, down bottom. You know, so these are inline designs. So if you are going to try to replace a current one, you may have to modify some piping in order to get the inline design. So just keep that in mind. You know, we have quite a few customers out there, or reps do, where they because of issues they've had, right, with their systems, the older systems, they put in one of these 4900s, you know, for good reason. And so the piping has to be changed because it's more tangential, and I'll show you some pictures of that very, very shortly. And again, to reemphasize Pall Ring technology, independent testing. There are 2 test datas. Unfortunately, Brett Zerba put the doubled up on the same one. Shame on him. But nonetheless, there's the fill vent here. And if you read our instructions, during filling of this, we actually recommend you close this and open this up to let the air out. And once you start seeing water come out of there, then you close that. The reason we say close this is we don't, during fill, we don't want you to fill this with water, and there could be stuff in there and that might clog this up. So that's why if you read our instruction manual, it actually says to close this. It's a couple turns and you can close that and actually use this for the filling or watching the air come out as well. Flange connections, pretty straightforward there. And again, if anyone went crazy, I'm sure they could work out some grooved types. I think we've made some, maybe not for the, well, maybe even bigger pipe. It's not a catalog, but nonetheless, you can see this. And the dirt, right? This is our air and dirt separator, right? This is an air separator would be a lot shorter. This is the containment area for the dirt, for the large sediment or the dirt as it builds up there. You know, so that's what that there's. And okay, I was right, 3-inch and larger. So there's a 2-inch blow-off valve, 2-inch blow-off valve for 3-inch and larger units. So you can fit something up there and swirl it around to help clean it out properly. And our instruction manual has all the procedure of how to do that. Obviously, you got to shut things down and close both sides, open this up, and blow it down. And matter of fact, funny story, one of the product guys that works at the Fall River facility says, "Yeah, Brett, I got a call from somebody that that had a maintenance schedule to blow this down, and I think we recommend blowing it down once a month or as needed, or you know." So they had a maintenance schedule, and they were blowing it down, and they got some stuff off, stuff out of it. You know, the water may have been a little cloudy or brown, or stuff was coming out. But then after 6 months or so, they called to say your air and dirt separator is not working. And what do you mean? He says, well, when I blow it down or when I let water out, it's all clean. So only clean water comes out. Well, that's good. That's good. That means your system's nice and clean, and the air and dirt separator's done its job, and it's waiting for more dirt and air. But nonetheless, funny story there. So some of the more picture items you can see on this and whatnot. So I've been yapping for a while. Does anyone have any questions? Nothing's typed in. That's good. That's good. I'm going to keep going. I got the questions listed if you want. So I'm going to change pace here and talk about our ACF air separators. These are our inline air separators. There's an internal baffle design, and they work great with constant and variable flow systems. The 4900 works great with constant and variable flow as well, but these guys do as well. So it's a different flow pattern. We don't have the test data. They do a good job, and you know, the industry's accepted these out there. You know, so that they are out there in many systems. You can see the different flow rates, almost the same, right? The other one was 33,000. This is 30,000. Size connection sizes. most of this information is all the same. I forget exactly what the temperature rating was on the higher one, on the other one, but nonetheless, it's probably, if this one's higher than the other one, it's probably because we did one of these once, and we have all the data. You know, if we don't have it on the other one, that's why we haven't done one. So I don't think there's any performance data there that is too earth-shattering, but nonetheless, it's all there as well. And again, it is available. Okay, so the AC, okay, ASME, and again, you know, I want to hit this home, right? Design, constructed, and tested the ASME section 8. I can read Roman numerals. I'm pretty sure that's 8. If it's not, correct me, but I'm pretty sure it's 8. And then it's 1x is 9, right? You only put so many lines after Roman numerals. I remember that from, I don't know if that was 4th grade or 3rd grade, whatever grade it was. That's a long time ago. Nonetheless, so the model numbers up here, the AC and the ACF. The ACF actually has a removable stainless steel strainer. The other one, so that one would help remove dirt. The other one does not have a strainer, and I'll show you some pictures what I mean by that. So that more of an air type. To be quite honest, I think my personal recommendation, and you know, argue with me if you'd like, would be to, anytime you specify a component like this, to make sure it's the air and dirt style. Be it the inline, be it the tangential, be it the micro bubble one, for commercial system, the 4900. Get the air and dirt. Save yourself and the project some problems there as well. And then everything else from a feature standpoint is pretty much the same as the other ones. But nonetheless, you know, if there's any bullets on there that you have some questions on, take a look. So here's the flow pattern in one of these, okay? There is a vent connect. This one's a little different, right? The 4900 comes with a vent. This one has a vent connection. So it doesn't come with that, but you can install the air vent with a T here, and maybe the makeup ties right into that as well. But this is recommended typical installation. Pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything out of the ordinary there, but nonetheless, you can see the flow pattern for these for the for the inline ones. Excuse me. So the vent connection allows captured air to be vented to atmosphere, or possibly to some steel expansion tank or whatever. So that can get the air vented right out. Water and air mixture through the inlet goes here, and then it can come with a strainer as well for steel, and then scoots down and outs right here. So there is a baffle that forces change in flow direction and slows the velocity down, and then that's the key, is slowing down the velocity. I have to turn something off. Slowing the velocity down so the denser dirt and the air can pop up and the dirt can get out down at the bottom. So something to be considered there. And then again, there's that optional stainless steel strainer for catching larger debris. These do not get you down to that 18 microns like the 4900s, right? Those are catching kind of the larger stuff. So it's not as efficient. It's not as efficient as removing dirt from that system, but nonetheless, it does get some of the bigger dirt particles out of your system. Pretty straightforward, but you can kind of see the recommended installation there and the flow pattern inside of that as well. So now I'm going to transition to the ACTs. These are our tangential design. These are our tangential designs. ASME construction, and again, they can come with or without strainers as well. And there's a couple pictures of them right there. You can see the clean out or without it. This one must be one with the strainer. This is without the strainer. You can kind of see the differences there. They don't get up as high for flow rate. They don't go up as high as flow rate, and they don't work as well on slower systems. You know, they like constant speed as they go through there. But we can get pretty big with these units as well. Same working pressure, same temperature. I don't think anything there is too crazy. But nonetheless, these are still used on a regular basis out there as well. Let's see, is there anything different in here? Nope, I don't think so. Nope, all of these features are the same as the previous two features. You know, and I can't emphasize this enough. All our fabrication is done in-house at our facility located in Fall River, Massachusetts. So we don't farm anything out. It all is done there, and some of you have seen it under construction there as well. Here's the flow pattern on these. It's a little different than what you've seen on the other one. The typical installation is still the same, but the flow pattern is different, right? So these here, they swirl around. You see how the water swirls around as it comes in? And then it effectively helps move the air up. The less dense air then migrates to the center of the unit for venting at the top. Okay, so the system fluid within a tangent is forced to the wall of the separator due to centrifugal force. So it's a different flow pattern than the other two, right? One was straight through, the other had some baffles in there to scoot it down. These are just, it's kind of watching like emptying your bathtub, right? And you see the final swirl as it goes down. So that's what the tangentials are, and it does have that optional strainer available as well. They produce higher pressure drops than inline of microbubble units. So keep that in mind. You know, if you got to make sure you take that into account when you specify, or one of these are on your project, or maybe you know, someone VEs something out, the VEs out the 4900, puts one of these in here, and all of a sudden that's affecting the head loss on your pump or the total head loss on the system. So please make sure you take that into account as you work through these units and go from there. So that's our AT separator, and I think that's all I got to say about those. We actually had a webinar about our flex balancing or primary, secondary, closely spaced tees. You know, bridge, hydraulic bridge, but these are our 5900s, okay? And these possibly could replace some other components in a system, okay? As you can see, you can get it with the Pall Rings, so you could replace the air and dirt separator. And there's a volume here, and there's a volume here, so it could also be a buffer tank, right? I won't say a buffer tank, but it can do the job of a buffer tank, which is adding volume to your system, so you don't short cycle the boiler or the chiller. Something to consider. And these are ideal for primary, secondary systems. Your bridge piping, your decoupler is not compromised or installed incorrectly or whatever. Rich and I just worked very closely with an engineering firm that had some issues with some bridge piping on a couple of projects, hydraulic bridge for whatever reason, and they were quite happy to see a product like this available out there as well. So there's the picture of it. Obviously, the one on the right does not have the Pall Ring, and the one on the left does have the Pall Ring. And you can see, right, this one has the blow down and this one does not, but they both have the vents because they are helping to eliminate air as well. You can see the flow rates are a little small than some of the other ones, but we can get up higher if you need be. This is what we've designed so far, and I don't think any of the other submittal data there or performance data is out of the ordinary. Pretty straightforward there. And again, like I said, I can't emphasize this enough. The team in Fall River is more than welcome, more than happy to design specials for you as you look at some of these. Pretty much straightforward there. And to reemphasize, you can order these with the stainless steel Pall Rings. You can get them with the stainless steel Pall Rings and that'll help you get more air and dirt out of your system. So something to consider if you go there. And they do, the dirt ones do have that full port blow down valve. So please keep that in mind as well. I'm gonna take another drink of water. I've been yapping for a while. There's no question. Hopefully everybody's still on. Since I'm by myself, I haven't been checking. Anyone want to raise their hand, say hi? Is Paulie's probably not out there. He usually says hi to me all the time. But nonetheless, I digress. But I need to tell somebody about this. Those two, for anyone that was on earlier and seen the 5th generation pictures of the two beautiful babies. One of them is actually my granddaughter as well, Madison Marie White, is my daughter Caitlin's daughter, first child, as you can only imagine, Caitlin and John, the third, are husband and wife, and it's very exciting for all of us. And so I am a proud grandfather. Actually, my other daughter had so I have two grandchildren and one on the way. But nonetheless, little Madison Marie White is a joy, and she is also my granddaughter. So I need to talk about that as well. All right, so I'm getting some stuff. Of all the separators, which ones are okay to have reducers, expansion fittings on the connections? Adam, we recommend that it's all straight pipe in and out. If you look at our instruction sheets, so that's what we're saying there. I think that's your question. Hopefully, I answered that related to that. Which says can you have higher velocities in the recommended flow velocities on the cut sheets? So our 4900, we actually have a high velocity 4900, so you can actually get it. It's just a little bigger construction, so you can get that with a higher velocity type as well. So something to consider there. If you're really getting into some critical conversations about velocity proper all the air and dirt, if it's a dirty system, maybe a central plant, really consider working with your local guy, take a rep on these on the 4900s because they're very efficient, and they can get a lot of that air and dirt out of there, and maybe save some time or save some product and headaches. And I tell you what, we all work very hard and get a lot of work done, but headaches, right? We all deal with them. That's one of the reasons why we're employed, unfortunately. But nonetheless, if we can prevent headaches, with a component like that 4900, that's something to consider. So anyways, the 5900s, right? Flexibles, very good for primary, secondary systems, okay? They're taken into account. Our mechanical room, where all our boilers are I think we have 6 boilers back there, about 3 million BTUs for our facility and the snow melt and whatnot. We have a 5900 operating in there, and it does primary, secondary. So our boilers are on the primary side, and then the secondary side goes out to the system. So pretty straightforward. And if you look at our instruction sheets or our catalog, it gives you some ideas of some of the different ways you can calculate this and how it's flowing through there and whatnot. But we covered a lot of that in our other webinars. So here's a detailed picture of the flex balancer. Let me kind of zoom in a little here. I apologize. I gotta hide some stuff here. Hold on. There we go. Okay, you can kind of see some of the details there, and the heights and the sizes, right? And we do have some internal perforated stainless steel baffles in there to help the flows properly or mix. And then you could also get it with the stainless steel Pall Rings in there. There's a blow up of the air vent. You got to be careful with the lifting lugs. Rigging and lifting used only, not for anchoring or hanging. So you do need to properly install these, right, with hangers on both sides of these flanges. So you got to take that into account. It's just one of those things that you have to be careful of during installation. You can kind of see the different model numbers and sizes there. And there's that big blowdown. So the small ones, the 2-inch and 2.5 inch, have the 1 inch, but 2-inch, the blowdown valve is 2-inch and larger on 3-inch units and bigger. I'm getting confused on my dimensions there. So, and then you can get it with feet as well if you wanted to mount it on the floor, which I've seen some of these. Probably the smaller ones. I think the ones in our mechanical rooms, a 4-inch main, so it's mounted up high with some pipe hangers. But nonetheless, you can see some of the differences there. All right, let me get to the next screen. Hopefully, what's going on here? All right, there we go. So now I'm going to transition into the multi-purpose tanks, right? So these are our MPTs, and you get a lot more information on our website. So I'm going to touch upon these a little bit as well. So these are probably mostly used for buffer tanks, but you can also use it as a 5900, right? You can put those Pall Rings in there. You can put the baffles in there as well. Air and dirt separators, so you can use it as that. So here's another component that you can possibly use as well. Wide range of nozzle sizes and arrangements, right? You can kind of see some are straight through, some are fit into corners of walls. The folks at Fall River have done a good job of working with the engineering teams that they come across or come across them to make sure they fit properly. Wide range of installations available. You can kind of see a couple pictures there. Obviously, probably more important. Well, even for hot water, it's important to insulate, right? So you're not heating the room with this. You're saving as much energy as you can. But I'm sure for chilled water, for sweating and whatnot. So there's a wide range of insulations available, and you can get them in stainless steel. Matter of fact, we may have and take this with a grain of salt. I heard a conversation the other day. We might have a 3,000 gallon MPT, all stainless steel at ASHRAE next year in Vegas. Now that would be a hoot, wouldn't it? That would be a hoot. Maybe we'll have a picture of one, anyways. My good friend Anthony would probably love to see that if we could ever have that in the booth. But that may not happen. But nonetheless, we can go up that big as well. Here's some of the sizes, and again, the team can make it a lot bigger than that as well, but we go up to over 1,000 GPM, and there's some of your, so our standard working pressure is 125. We can go up higher as well. This is a relatively newer product for us. When I say newer, it's still been out 5-6 years, but still relatively new. So as requests come in, we change the performance data, because then we designed them for more different ones, different diameters, as you can see there as well. I forget, there was a project where we had to send out, was it 10,000 gallon tank? I forget how big it was. They were pretty big for the GoDaddy project out in Arizona, but nonetheless, and again, here's all the same type of features as the other one. And I want to reemphasize, you can get them at 180 or 90 degree configurations or 45s. It probably wouldn't make too much sense, but nonetheless, you can get them at different configurations as well. Installation packages, I want to reemphasize that. The team can recommend installation, but there's a whole different types, and it does come on. It does do a good job, as you can only imagine, as you go. The flange, grooved, or threaded connections are available. It depends on the size and what your requests are. Obviously, flange is probably the most common, but nonetheless, the other two, maybe on smaller ones, might be thought there as well. And to reiterate, stainless steel is optional for these units as well. So keep that in mind. It does come with anchor clips for floor mounting, or it's available with anchor clips for floor mounting as well. You can get a sensing port, optional sensing ports on nozzles. The air vent and blowdown valves are there as well. And then you can see some of that. This component can be NSF or ANSI certified and listed. That's an option that's available with the multi-purpose tank as well. Holy moly. And there's just kind of a quick picture with it. So for some of the other call outs, what you can expect on it. There's that optional port that's available on the flanges or on the inlets and outlets as well. You got the nameplates. And then as mounted here would also be that TACO tag as you go. And there's some of your lifting lugs. Pretty straightforward. I don't think there's anything there. There's a base ring if it's going to be base mounted, which probably most of these are. Well, as you get up there in size anyways. Excuse me, I had to get another sip. But you can see that very, 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 very quickly there. And then, the nameplates have all the pertinent information there as you start looking at it as you go. So, questions? Any other questions? Any other questions out there? I want to go to the website because I shortchanged you folks, and I apologize for that. So if I go to products, I'm on the Takeo website, takeocomfort.com, and I go to products, air and dirt separators, air separators, and here's that 4900. I click on that, and then I go to documents, test reports. So I obviously put, here's the other test report. If anybody would like a copy of the other one, you can download it right from our website. So I probably, unless I get some emails requesting it directly, I probably won't send them out. Well, I can ask the team if there's a way to do that. Otherwise, I'd have to send them out separate. But if anybody wants the other one and can't download it from our website, please send me an email and I will make sure to get that to you. So just keep that in mind as you go. Well, that's about all I got for today. That's about all I got. Any questions out there? You're welcome, Richard. I appreciate your time. You know, I do want to reemphasize. Thank you for your time. Right, we've been doing a lot of these, and I heard some presentations today about webinars and people getting sick of them. And so, obviously, this is a volunteer it was well over 100 people that came today. And thank you for your time. We know how much time is value for everybody, right? That's the most important thing that we offer for many of us. And thank you for your time today, for your continued time. And we will see you down the road. Jerry, you're welcome. And how's my friend Warren? Warren, you got anything to add? You got anything that you want me to add to today's conversation? Warren usually always has something to say. We will keep doing them, Gordon. Nope. Nope. Warren said hi and thanks with a question mark. So I guess nope. He's gonna stay silent. Warren doesn't like me to tell people this, but he's actually a professional guitar player. He's played a lot in his backyard. So he's a good man. Warren's is a good man. You're welcome. Thank you, everybody, and we will see you in a couple of weeks. Other than that, stay safe and take care. Bye, all.